Most people only know the surface of this story. They saw the draft position, they saw the number on the jersey, and they moved on. But underneath all of that, something was being built that the NFL, Nike, and the entire sports business world were completely unprepared for. Shadur Sanders is Deion Sanders' son. That part everybody knows. What gets overlooked every single time is what Shadur actually built entirely on his own. Growing up in Texas with a father who constructed one of the most iconic personal brands in sports history, Shadur was not just watching. He was learning, absorbing, and quietly building his own identity from the ground up. And from early on, that identity had a number attached to it. Number 2 was not assigned randomly. It was chosen with intention. Over time, he poured everything into it: his work ethic, his standard, his message. The number 2 became more than a jersey number. It became a symbol. His own brand grew around it. His own clothing line launched around it. Colorado even honored the connection early, recognizing what that number meant to him before the NFL ever entered the picture. So by the time he walked into the 2025 NFL Draft, number 2 was not just his number. It was his brand, and the market already knew it. Then came the draft, and everything got complicated fast. Shadur Sanders did not go where people expected. He did not go in the first round. He did not go in the second, the third, or the fourth. He slid all the way to pick 144. Fifth round. Cleveland Browns. The reaction was immediate and loud. Analysts were confused. Fans were angry on his behalf. The questions flew instantly. Was this about football? Was this about something else? Was this fair? But here is what Shadur did while everyone else was making noise. Nothing. He stayed quiet. He packed his bags, got to Cleveland, and went to work. And then came another problem. Number 2 was not available. Wide receiver DeAndre Carter, a veteran already on the roster, held that number. The energy around it was uncomfortable. People close to Shadur were not happy. But instead of creating drama or forcing a conversation, Shadur took number 12 and moved forward.
No complaints. No headlines.
Just focus. That quiet response told you everything about how he was raised. Under Deion Sanders, excuses do not exist. Distractions are for people who do not want to win. You handle it and keep moving. Wearing number 12, a number that carried no personal brand weight, no history, no emotional connection, Shadur Sanders still made Cleveland pay attention. 7 starts. Over 1,400 passing yards. Real flashes of arm talent and pocket awareness that looked far beyond what a rookie should have produced, especially in that environment. The offensive line was struggling. The weapons around him were limited. The team finished 5-12. Nothing was clean. Nothing was easy. The criticism came hard. 10 interceptions gave every critic exactly what they needed. People used those numbers to try to close the conversation entirely. But even with all that noise, something was building that the statistics alone could not explain. Because despite the record and despite the chaos, Shadur Sanders made the Pro Bowl. Let that sit for a second. A rookie. A 5th-round pick on a team that won 5 games all season still got voted in by the fans and still got his name called. The last Browns quarterback to reach that level was Derek Anderson back in 2007. Nearly 2 decades of that drought gone. The moment that Pro Bowl announcement dropped, his jersey sales, still number 12, still not even his real number, shot up to become one of the top-selling jerseys from his entire draft class. Nike noticed. The league noticed. Everybody noticed. March 30th, 2026 did not feel like a regular news day. It felt like a detonation. DeAndre Carter was released. Number 2 was open. The Cleveland Browns made it official fast. Shadur Sanders was reclaiming his number for the 2026 season. That was all the internet needed. Shadur went on X and posted one thing. Just the number 2.
No caption. No explanation.
No hype attached. And that single move hit harder than any press release or media appearance ever could have. Fans who had refused to buy a number 12 jersey suddenly came alive. People who had already purchased one started asking how to switch. Others who had been waiting for months were already clicking checkout before the post had even had time to spread. Traffic on retail websites spiked to levels that were not expected for weeks. Social media feeds filled up with fans showing off their orders. Demand did not rise gradually. It jumped straight to overload, and it happened in hours, not days. Now the data. Before the number 2 announcement, Shadur was already leading jersey sales among rookies from his draft class. That alone was remarkable given his draft position. A 5th-round pick does not typically compete in the same merchandise conversation as top 10 selections. The market just does not work that way, except it did here. Then, within 48 to 72 hours of the announcement, sales climbed so fast that analysts stopped talking about football and started talking about business. This became a financial story overnight. Shadur was not picked first overall. He was not handed a massive rookie contract. He did not play on a winning team or rack up MVP-level stats. By every traditional metric, the market should not have been reacting this way. But this is where traditional metrics fail completely. What Shadur Sanders carries is not measured in touchdowns or draft position. It is measured in connection, in identity, in years of brand building that created a loyal audience before he ever wore a professional uniform. And when that number 2 finally came back, it did not just trigger jersey sales. It triggered a release of everything that had been building since he first started wearing that number as a kid in Texas. Nike handles every official NFL jersey, which means every order and every dollar flowing into this moment runs directly through them. Right now, they are not managing normal demand. They are managing a surge that was not planned for and is not slowing down. Most of the time, demand spikes follow a predictable pattern. They rise over days or weeks, giving production and logistics time to catch up. What Shadur created did not follow that pattern. It hit fast, it hit hard, and it hit without warning. Factories have to move faster than scheduled. Supply chains have to be prioritized immediately. Shipping has to keep pace with an audience that is not willing to wait. When demand outpaces supply by this margin, fans do not stay patient for long. Excitement has a short shelf life. If people click to buy and the item is out of stock, some will come back later, but a significant portion will not. Nike is preparing what insiders have described as a record-level deal that could make Shadur the highest-paid rookie endorser in league history. The calculation makes sense. They have already seen what he can do with jersey sales while wearing a number that was not even his. Now that he has the number he built his entire identity around, the ceiling on those numbers is genuinely unknown. The NFL runs on draft position. It runs on contracts, team records, and media narratives controlled by front offices. A 5th-round pick is supposed to spend years quietly proving himself before the market starts paying attention. That is how the system works. Shadur Sanders ignored it completely. He came in as the 144th pick and immediately became the most talked-about player in his draft class. He played 7 games on a losing team and made the Pro Bowl. He wore someone else's number for an entire season and still outsold players who were handed everything at the top of the draft. The control is shifting. The story is no longer being written by draft grades or win-loss records. It is being written by fans, the people who voted him into the Pro Bowl and rushed online the second they heard his number was coming back. The league, the brands, and the media are all realizing at the same time that the usual rules do not apply here. Number 2 is back. Shadur Sanders is entering his 2nd season with something most quarterbacks take a full career to build, an audience that is fully bought in before the first snap is even played. Cleveland has been waiting for a moment like this for a long time. The stage is set. The window is open. The market is hungry. And Shadur Sanders is just getting started.